Was there a certain aspect to music or celebrity that appealed to you that made you want it to be a part of your life?
I was looking for an intellectual distinction in pop music, and everything in life shouldn't need to be reduced. And if there's one thing I can't stand, it's the lowest common denominator. And I don't think such a thing should be catered for in music. I think they should be ignored. The people who aren't listening shouldn't be catered for. They should be ignored because they're ruining everything. And yet these are always the consideration in everything, which baffles me. I mean, why not just assume that everybody's extremely intelligent and how the world would change then? I think I was always very brutally honest, and I think that made lots of people feel very uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And I think people initially thought I was too open, and I was walking the plank too willingly and freely and so forth, and you're not really supposed to say those things, and you're not supposed to sing about those things, but I thought there's no other way, really, for me. So I like to think everything is true. I mean, it might be a bit hard to swallow and a bit tawdry, but it's true. Yeah. And if you feel as if you're a writer by compulsion, then you have to write everything. If you feel dreadful, then you have to write that. You can't just present a smiling face to the world all the time, because who needs it? Yeah. I mean, because many people think that just to make music is good enough and interesting enough, yeah. And of course it isn't really, because if we constantly listen to music that's dreadful and we feel people are wasting our time, we get very angry. It's just a sign of the times, and everybody knows it's crap. And there are certain crap things that people seem to enjoy, and there they are, and there they stay, and there's nothing we can do about it. But I mean, the very last thing these people are idols, and it's ludicrous. I mean, it's just a game. It's just like a modern talent show, and I feel sympathy for the people, for the contestants, mm-hmm. And the whole action of ridiculing a contestant and bringing them down and kicking them out and watching them cry and kill themselves seems to be a part of modern entertainment, but I don't know anybody on the planet who enjoys it. I think it's just one of those little conspiracies again. You want to see somebody humiliated. Well, I don't. And you want to see people losing their grip on life. I don't.
Do you think celebrity has become less special? That it's become almost
Yeah.
more common and,
Well,
and actually, as you say, almost destructive?
It's absolutely meaningless now, because the people who are celebrated are only celebrated for being known, which is no good. So they're not celebrated for enriching the world or having talent. They're just famous for being celebrities. It's humiliating most of the time, because you are honestly trying to present some thoughtful music. Yeah. And yet you have to compete in arenas where you're surrounded by people who aren't doing so, and they're rewarded for being mundane. Yeah. And it seems that if you try to give something in music, and if you try to be intelligent, then you're cross-examined, you're dismissed with a wave of a hand. The attitude is generally, how dare you? How dare you try to enlighten us? Whereas if you're a complete imbecile and you play dreadful, pointless music, away you go, and you collect all this money, and you're on the top of the charts all over the world. But if you try to be thoughtful, then you're cross-examined to a ludicrous degree, and you constantly have to explain why you're not simple.
Do you ever sort of wonder how, that quality of accident and how valuable it is? Because you wouldn't necessarily be here.
It applies to everything in life, though. It applies to how you meet your beloved, and how you lose your beloved, and how you get your job, and how you're sacked. It applies to everything. I mean, is anything in life that structured? Does anybody know where they're going to be next week? Not really. I don't think the world is a particularly fantastic place. Not really. But once again, we're not supposed to say these things, are we? It's supposed to be rock and roll and wild and beer and madness and I mean, it does take some people a long time to realise many things about their life, and I'm a slow learner.
Yeah. Well,
have I learned? Is that what you're...
Let's talk about specific learning.
Well, specific learning, I'm just seeing lots of very joyful things in life, whereas I didn't in the past, to be quite honest. Which maybe you noticed, I don't know. But, so I feel that the last year or so for me has been an eye-opener in many, many ways.
So then let me ask you, what constitutes
An
joy?
eye-opener, I knew you'd say that. Well, I do actually say, I mean, politically, of course, the world is ridiculous, but there's still lots of beauty in the world, I think.